Testing.
Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out. And I never sexually assaulted anyone.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole.
I would say, I'm not a beta male. I would say, I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta male. I'd say, I'm not a beta male. 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 You know, you're a beta male.
Beta!
Well, first of all, I should say something about how we came to be here and why we're doing this, and then kind of what we had in mind. Originally, the idea had come up of me debating somebody else, on this topic, and that didn't end up happening.
Sam, if I could just get the sentence out. Jimmy Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow. Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow. Talk about Jimmy about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
I admit to always improving.
And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. And he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television.
All of a sudden we can't talk about Neanderthal DNA anymore.
As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
Yeah. I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It All. I'm your host. I'm here. Is there like a fucking... It's like a film on my webcam, is that? Oh, that looks way better. What's up, folks? Got a show here. It's a show. So I'm gonna do the show. Got a show going on, folks. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on a Saturday. Is it Saturday? Thank you, everyone, for joining me on a Saturday morning. I appreciate that. So, yesterday was day 157. Yes, 57 of protests in the city of Elizabeth City over the police shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. that took place on April 21st, 2021. We did a walk around the federal and county courthouses, and we have a lot more megaphones, and we've got a lot more energy. People are very, very excited, and so... we walked around and we said our piece. again, folks, I really, there's not much that happens that I can update you on a day-to-day at this point. But, the peace officers. I mean, I don't even know what to say about the fucking peace officers. Like, the idea that anyone thought that was a good idea, I think, is just purely astounding. It sounds astounding, and it is, in fact, astounding. It is actually astounding. And so that's the situation. But either way, there's nothing really of note to mention. We had a good demonstration. Everyone's hyped up, and we're ready to go again today. So that's it. That's the scoop. There you go. I'm sorry for the low energy today, folks. Wait, who got scolded? What? What happened? Is everyone okay? No, actually, I'm not facing many caffeine withdrawals. I'm just in a not great mood. The caffeine is doing good. Woo! Oh yeah, I wear it to the protest every day. Huh. I'm sorry. It says that it's not BPA, Mila. So, I don't know what to tell you. Well, I do know what to tell you. I'm gonna scold you again. That's right. You're gonna get scolded. You're being very bad. Scolded. I got scolded. What is this? Leave it to Beaver? Like I got scolded. Oh, come on, Wally. All right. What is seltzer? I don't know how to answer that question. I'm sorry. So, folks, on this show, we respond to criticism on this show. Yesterday, I recorded a segment called, and I quote, Orange Man and failed presidential candidate Donald Trump lies again after Arizona audit found he lost bigly. So I uploaded this segment yesterday and discussed how the audit in Arizona actually found that Trump lost by even a bigger margin. So it's not looking so good. But again, we respond to criticism on this show. So I have opened up, I have the comment section, and so we're going to go in. So the TDS is strong in this one. Raffle emoji X3. So it's all out now. You probably should take this down as you're only making a fool of yourself. And then Andrew Kohler responds, what's all out? Well, clearly they misread because it is all out. Max Kurth says, ha 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 ha! You loser! Space, exclamation point. He won! Space, period, space. Your president is a grub. And 2 impeachment, apostrophe S, and nothing. Ha 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 ha! Look at you talking. Space, dot dot, space. You are nothing but a lesbian leftist. That's incredible, folks. I'm a lesbian leftist. That is news to me. False info! Space, exclamation point. Johan Moranta says, fake channel. Trump won. So my whole channel is fake. As you can tell, the whole channel is fake. Jeffrey Boone, the full report isn't even out yet, lol. So this was fake when they started the audit, and now you think it confirms your belief, so it's legit now? I don't know what that means. But Jojo D. Artiste says, yo, how do you do an audit to prove Trump won and instead just end up confirming that he lost? A good question. Then U Space Tube responds, don't even attempt to rationalize with them. The brainwashing by the MSM is real. Las Timoteo, Trump won! Gotta read more. You put this up before the actual evidence was presented. Typical crybaby liberal. Bye-bye, Joe. Buck Fiden. Damn. Damn, that's intense. So RA responds, laughs in hashtag decertify. GA next. So then Jesus Says responds, not gonna happen, MAGA dum-dum. Sucks for you, huh? RA responds, hashtag decertify go burr. Jojo D. Artiste says, so literally, we're going to ignore the law and just place Trump as president. RA says, dumb. The law isn't on the side of the corrupt. So quit acting like they are romantic heroes, such as Robin Hood. More like Robin Hood's. Oh! Would you tolerate a thief breaking into your house, stealing your stuff, and just move on, even as they still have it on their person? Pro tip, that is called possession in criminal courts. US v. Throckmorton. Fraud. Vitates everything. This is intense. Andrew Kohler responds, pretty sure that decertify isn't really a thing. That seems to be the case. But RA responds with even more. Pretty sure you are the leftist rube who believes everything with which they indoctrinate you. I don't know who they is, but they are doing quite a lot. What is fashionable among you knuckleheads often does not line up with neither the law nor history. As we all know, winning an election is unlawful. Ready to see some perp walks on national TV? Signing blank ballots does that for you if you're an AZ county election official. Fraud vitiates everything. Son of Liberty. So much hate from your pathetic life. That's right, folks. Making like a 5-minute video for fun is hatred. Yes, he is. And he continues to slowly destroy our country. Unfortunate for us. Midterms will strip his powers and possibly get him impeached. The man is totally incompetent and should not be in charge of America. At least Donald Trump was not a failed president. Unfortunately, the voters decided they wanted a failure of an incompetent buffoon in Biden as our president. Seeing lots of buyer's remorse these days because of Biden's lies. You have another chance in 2022. Reminder, in 2018, there was a historic midterm election. The highest voter turnout of a midterm and the highest seat allocation picked up from the opposing party in a very long time. I think it was like in 100 years or some shit. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, that this same criticism applies to Donald Trump in a lot more context. But Gengar Clefairy says, why is his approval rating at record lows then and getting worse every week? First of all, I don't believe in the approval ratings. I don't believe that 40% of people approved of Donald Trump's handling of, you know, I think Trump's lowest approval rating was like somewhere like 28% or so. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So I don't believe in approval ratings at all. If there's a system that allows George W. Bush to have the highest approval ratings in history or whatever, I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I just don't believe those polls at all. Never said I like Trump, buddy. Can you think for yourself or respond without an insult? Oh my God, there's so much. Spinmax, you are not being objective. Why did he fail? Mean tweets. He was a great president. Can you honestly say the same for Biden? They were the ones who believed and voted for him, then found out he lied. The media covered for his lies. He's been exposed, and he betrays his voters. His approval rating is now the lowest of any president. I don't think that that's true. But you are delusional, not to be confused with the word delusional. You're delusional. I think it's like a pickle version. If you think Biden is a good president, that is all I care about. Nit winning or losing, but what is good for our country? Yo, how many more of this? Biden lost. Jojo D. Artiste responds, yet somehow he's the president. Curious. Pain and Agony responds, if that's true, he's a pretty lousy president. So folks, this is why this one is my favorite. So Biden lost, right? So this guy's living, it's like November 4th in this person's world. And then someone says, yet he's president. That's weird, right? And then so Pain and Agony says, if that's true, as in to say, I am not sure if Biden is the president. It might be true, but I'm not sure is what they're saying. If that's true, he's a pretty lousy president. So they're living in a world where Biden is not the president. But they know for a fact that if he were the president, he would have to be lousy. Oh shit, there's more. He lost that back in the 80s. Brains. Ha! What are those? Nah, he lost the election. People didn't vote for Joe Biden. They voted for the corporate monstrosity that propped him up. That's what the corporate monstrosity campaigned on. They built support by taking advantage of you through propaganda that opposed literally anything Trump did. Okay? Great to know that's how you view half the country. Reminder, 80 million is not half of 340 million. Just throwing that out there. You're delusional. The propaganda will take years to wear off. Just don't harm anyone. I'm going back out to my porch to have a smoke. I mean, I can't with this shit. I don't know. I think this segment has run its course. But I mean, the whole thing is, there's a lot going on. But again, we respond to criticism on this show, so I wanted to be very clear. Alright, folks, we got a treat. We got a fucking treat for y'all. We have got a treat for the stream. The viewers are about to get treated to some content, capital CTM. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, folks, that's right. MTG. Rep MTG, that's right. She's alive. She exists. She's real. And she was captured on film with an interaction with Representative Deb Dingell. Let's watch.
Horrendous. You should all be ashamed. Killing a baby up until birth is a lack of civility. It's called murder. Hey, how about the border down there? Lack of civility. How about lack of laws or protecting and upholding our Constitution?
You should practice the basic thing you're taught in church. Respect your
Taught
neighbor.
in church? Are you kidding me? Try being a Christian and supporting life.
Try being a Christian and try
Support life. Decently. Watch your step, lady. You're gonna fall down. Control yourself.
Yo. Folks, I really need y'all to understand this is why Marjorie Taylor Greene is so successful. Right? Like, she is amazing content. Like, she is a gold mine. Again, when I first watched this and I saw her say, "Watch your step, lady, you're about to fall down." Like, I'm dead. Check it out.
Decently. Watch your step, lady. You're gonna fall down. Control yourself.
And then she walked away. Watch your step, lady. You're gonna fall down. And then, like, mic drop. She's done. Again, Marjorie Taylor Greene provides some pretty incredible content. I mean, I can't with this shit, man. Like, what was Dingell even attempting to even do there? That was such a fail. It was such a loss. Now, again, obviously, she is more correct. But, I mean, again, she's caping for Biden's border policy. Like, Jesus Christ. If you think Biden is handling the border correct, you are a fucking moron. You're a goddamn fucking idiot. Especially after the horseback whipping bullshit. I mean, again, Joe Biden is a disaster president. Let's be real here. But again, Donald Trump is even worse somehow. Like, if you look at how bad Joe Biden is handling the country, Donald Trump would have handled it worse, right? So, again, this is a situation where both sides are stupid, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is hilarious. Like, I mean, like, again, watch your step, lady. Like, I gotta watch it again. I'm sorry.
Control yourself. Why? Decently. Watch your step, lady. You're gonna fall down. Control yourself.
Perfect delivery. I mean, she's really getting good at this. I mean, oh my god. Watch your step, lady. You're gonna fall down. It's so good. I really... Goddamn. It's so good. Watch your step, lady. Watch your step, lady. So we got, like, a lot of cringe coming out of the Tulsi Gabbard camp here. Lot of cringe. So I want to do like 2, potentially 3 Tulsi segments, but I might wait for tomorrow to do the third one. But this one was a couple days old, and I got to get to it. So Tulsi Gabbard, anti-imperialist extraordinaire and yoga pants wearer, is on Twitter once again posting cringe. So she posted this bizarre shit, calling out Joe Biden, whom she endorsed. Reminder, she endorsed Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders. Keep that in mind. Calling out Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The humanitarian and national security crisis on the southern border is the direct result of your open border policy. As I said in my 2020 presidential campaign, we can't have a secure nation if we don't secure our borders. So, I ask you, what? What? The humanitarian and national security crisis, again, what is that? The crisis is that they are whipping migrants and deporting them. Is the direct result of your open border policy. What? Help me out here. So, we are shutting the border down. Joe Biden is continuing the border wall, right? We have literal racists on horses whipping black migrants, deporting people to a country that is destabilized, that was destabilized by the United States. Right? Joe Biden has deported more people than Donald Trump did, utilizing the Title 42 bizarre, unconstitutional, unlawful violation of international law. The border crisis is because the border is too strictly enforced and closed. So, what the fuck is she talking about? The open border policy. What? Now, again, I believe in open borders. That's my policy. I wish Joe Biden had an open border policy. That would be ideal. Maybe not during this pandemic. Maybe we'll have, I think we should quarantine half the country. I think we should have a closed border around, Texas, for example. But, that's just a joke, obviously. But I don't believe in borders. I think borders are fucking stupid. Right? I think the idea that anyone controls the earth and that a human being could be considered illegal, I think that is ridiculous. As humans, we have inherited the earth from our ancestors. They gave us the planet that we live on now. And I believe it is a right to all humans to see any part of the world that they choose. I believe in freedom of movement, right? But Joe Biden does not. Joe Biden is having a stricter border than Donald Trump did. So again, Tulsi Gabbard is just going out there saying, open borders! Open borders! Maybe I can get on Tucker. Maybe I can get on Fox News. Gonna get on open borders. Gonna get on Fox News. But guess what? That actually happened. She's actually on Fox News. So let's check this out. Look at this one. So she went on Fox News. I was hoping that Biden would keep his promise to try and unite our country. But instead, this admin has used race and identity politics to divide us. Our freedom of speech and civil liberties are under assault. Inflation is going through the roof. And we've got open borders. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What? And then wait for it. The fuck is going on here. So she is clearly living in a fantasy land. Let's watch.
Let's bring in former Hawaii Democratic Congresswoman, former presidential candidate, and Army reservist, Tulsi Gabbard. She's just back from deployment in Africa to go after al-Qaeda-affiliated jihadists there. Congresswoman, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Brett.
I want to talk about Afghanistan, foreign policy, and counterterrorism, but I want to start on the issue of immigration that's pressing now in the news. You tweeted out this today. You said the Biden-Harris open door policy has been a disaster. It needs to end now. The main beneficiaries of open borders are the gangs, cartels, and human traffickers.
We don't have
the Trump policy
borders.
of having people wait on the other side of the border worked and needs to be reinstated. Your thoughts about what's happening in Del Rio and how the administration is handling it?
It's not open borders. The border
it is an utter disaster and failure, and it's directly attributed to the Biden-Harris administration's open border policy.
But the
this
border's
is
closed.
not only a humanitarian crisis, it is a national security crisis, and it's something I've said all along,
closed.
which is that if we do not secure our borders, then we can't have a secure nation.
Obama and Biden, did they just have that, Chiron saved and they loaded it? It's yeah, we had this one 6 years ago. Let's just bring it back in. What does Obama have to do with any of this? What the fuck are they talking about? The border is closed. It is being strictly enforced, and Joe Biden has deported more people in less of a time using Title 42 than Donald Trump did. Biden is increasing deporters. deportations, and more strictly closing the border, and he's got people, cowboys on horseback, whipping black migrants. What on God's green motherfucking shit-fucking cocksucking motherfuck fuck ass fuck is this bitch on? What? The humanitarian crisis is a direct result of the border being strictly closed. If the border were open, people could walk into the country, get a job, and then start feeding their families. What the fuck is she doing? Now imagine, there are people out there that 2 years ago, 1 year ago, were telling you, oh yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, she is more to the left than Bernie Sanders, right? Remember that during the primary? Remember a year ago? A year and a half ago? Remember? You had those left-wing YouTubers going, yeah, like Tulsi Gabbard, yeah. Yeah, no, she's actually to the left of Bernie on foreign policy. Is there going to be any accountability for those dumb fuck motherfuckers out there? Anyway, let's continue. I want to get through this whole thing because it's brutal.
There are so many issues that have happened under this administration that have led to this point, and their continued failure of leadership is exacerbating the crisis that we're seeing play out before.
Now, I agree with that. There is a failure of leadership. But it's not because of open borders. The borders are fucking closed, you dipshit.
Our very eyes.
But do you think, having been in Congress, that Congress can deal with this issue?
Congress has proven, unfortunately, to put partisan politics ahead of actually passing real necessary immigration policy reform. But what we've seen under the last several months under this administration, unfortunately, and Joe Biden is a friend, I hold no malice towards him, but I have to say that the policies and decisions...
So you hold no malice towards him, yet you're lying about his border policy? Yeah, Joe's my friend. I love the guy. But did you see he was wearing this like purple like uniform. He had like a clown makeup on. Can you show us the video of that? Yeah, it's just, Oh, can you believe Kamala Harris was, walking on a tightrope the other day at the circus and then fell onto an elephant? Ha! Classic Kamala. Oh, could you show us? Yeah, but she's my friend. My point here is that she's just making shit up. That's the point.
Decisions that have been made via executive order by the White House have led to this open border policy with thousands, tens of thousands of people coming and attempting to and sometimes successfully streaming across the border.
And you think that's a national security?
Okay, so the border's open, yet people are attempting to enter the country? So the border's open. It's an open border. You can just walk right through, and people are attempting to walk right through and then being deported, and then being whipped, and then being assaulted and thrown in cages and concentration camps. That's her version of open borders.
Security threat as well.
It absolutely is. How can you say that it's not when we have no idea who is coming across the border? And once again, how can we ensure safety and security for the American people when we don't have a secure border?
But those with the lowest IQ,
fight,
only the really,
about how it's evolving, how it's going to change.
But those with the lowest IQ
will meet terrorist threats that arise today and in the future with a full range of tools available to us. We're better equipped to detect and prevent terrorist threats, and we are more resilient in our ability to repel them and to respond.
There are a lot of people, Congresswoman, who say,
what does that even mean?
What happened in Afghanistan and what is happening now and how we handled it has really opened the door for more terrorists. You've just come back from Africa, which is also a hotbed of radical jihadists. Your thoughts on where we are?
Well, as you know, Brett, in both East and West Africa, there is a surge of these jihadist terrorists. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and affiliated groups are increasing in their strength. The withdrawal from Afghanistan is something that I agreed with, but unfortunately, the way that this administration executed that withdrawal has been an utter and abject disaster, which is continuing to play out as we speak. For those who say, and we should continue to monitor Afghanistan to make sure that there are no al-Qaeda and ISIS strongholds that are allowed to start to take root. If we're seeing that that's starting to happen, then we need to go and take them out. But we should not be under the illusion that this is a problem that's only limited to Afghanistan. And the proof of that is that al-Qaeda, for a very long time, has been able to get refuge and actually have training camps and support in Pakistan, which is a problem that not only hasn't been addressed, but we've seen the United States continue to support Pakistan.
So, is she advocating for war against Pakistan? What is happening? Like, what is going on? This is the anti-war candidate.
In spite of this known fact and reality. So this is a bigger issue here that really needs to be addressed.
Are you still a Democrat?
Yes.
And will continue to be, despite the criticism on a number of fronts?
Well, look, I've never been about party politics, Brett. I think you know that about me. I'm about putting country first. And the problems that we're seeing on a whole host of policy fronts is those in positions of power and leadership putting partisan politics, their own selfish desire for power, ahead of the interests of the country, ahead of the interests of the people. And that's what I always try to do my very best in looking at different policies, is we have to put the people and the interests of our country first.
Well, I want to ask you about this. You know, we're just getting the tip of the iceberg about this John Durham investigation, and there's been an indictment of a Hillary Clinton attorney, Mr. Sussman, about basically infusing this Russia narrative with the help of various media outlets and others. And it may go other places. We don't know. We're following it. But you have a unique perspective in that Hillary Clinton once called you a Russian asset. Just to remind people, take a listen.
They're also going to do third party again. And I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. Yeah, she's a Russian asset. I mean, totally. And so they know they can't win without a third party candidate.
They went on to confirm that that was you that she was referring to. Your thoughts as we're starting to get this Durham investigation?
Like, I really, again, the race and identity politics part here, what the hell is she talking about? Like, what is, like, Joe Biden is using identity politics? What the hell does that mean? I hope we get to that.
And what that means.
Confirms what I've known to be true, which is that you have the power elite, people like Hillary Clinton, those around her, working with the media, the deep state, in order to bring down the destruction and downfall of anyone that they deem to be a threat to their power. Outsiders, people like me, people like Donald Trump, doesn't matter, Democrat or Republican, if they identify, hey, this is someone who's not going to toe the line, this is someone who's not going to follow kind of the establishment way of things that are accepted, they pose a threat, and we will do, they will do all they can to silence or censor or cancel what they view to be a threat. And so this is bigger than about me or Trump or anyone else. This is actually a threat to our country and our democracy, and the arrogance that these people have in thinking they have the right to manipulate the American people, what they view, what they hear, what they see, all to preserve their own selfish interests, not caring at all about the impact on the country, the impact of the American people who gets hurt along the way.
I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Thank you.
Folks, I read like she's getting like a fucking long ass puff piece on Fox motherfucking News. What is going on here? What the fuck is she okay, so Joe Biden has a stricter and more tightly controlled and closed border than Donald Trump. That's the fact. Yet, she's going on Fox News talking about his open border policy. So Joe Biden is giving cops more money, 3xing police budgets all across the country, but also he's using race and identity politics to divide us. I mean, if maybe that would make sense if the sheer fact that he's funding police that will enforce a racist ideology, maybe that, I guess that is literally dividing people on race because you're enforcing one race, enforcing laws on one race more than another, which is how policing in this country works. But she didn't make that argument, right? What the hell is going on? What is she talking about? What is she, like, she is on drugs. Like, she is, like, legit. She is, like, I think she went to Africa to, like, take part in some, like, ancient psychedelic rituals, and now she's lost her fucking marbles. Like, what the hell is going on here? What in the goddamn fuck? She is on drugs, folks. Goddamn. I'm just gonna play it one more time. I mean, I have to. I mean, there's no...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Goddamn, folks. Goddamn. So this is a fun story. It's fun in the bad way. So, fentanyl-laced cocaine that caused overdose deaths was stolen from State Patrol evidence locker, officials say. Okay, so the same terrorist organizations that are doing this whole fentanyl, whoa, fentanyl, woo! Somehow, the fentanyl has left the lab, folks. Lincoln Police and the Nebraska State Patrol have linked fentanyl-laced cocaine that has led to multiple overdose deaths to the patrol's own evidence locker, the agencies announced in a joint news conference Friday. A former patrol evidence technician and the owner of a Lincoln restaurant were arrested in the theft of more than $1.2 million worth of narcotics from the patrol's evidence facility, including $329,800 worth of cocaine, according to the State Patrol. The law enforcement agencies announced the arrest of Anna Indigma and George Weaver Jr. on suspicion of conspiracy to distribute 140 grams or more of cocaine or fentanyl, a felony charge. Indigma, 35, had been a Nebraska State Patrol employee for more than a decade. Patrol Colonel John Bolduc said Weaver, 36, owns and operates Granny Weave's Soul Food and Catering in Lincoln, a business he started after a stint in prison. Both Weaver Jr. and Indigma are being held at the Lancaster County Jail on percentage bonds of $3 million. Blah, blah, blah. So the evidence storage facility where Indigma is alleged to have acquired the cocaine is audited frequently, Baldick said, both via scheduled and surprise checks. First of all, why do they have drugs in these, like, giant evidence lockers? Does anyone want to tell me that? Also, you're telling me no other cops were in on it? No other, it was just her. I doubt that. I doubt that. There are other people inside. They thought that they're that they were going to get busted, so they threw her under the bus. But again, we need to have this conversation of, like, cops have been distributing drugs into communities, and that's just what they do. They do that all the time, right? This has been their action since at least Ronald Reagan was president. Like, what they would do is they would get these drugs, funnel them in to minority communities, and then look, they're all addicted to drugs, and then we can go arrest however many we want for fun. That's the strategy that they tried to employ here, and for whatever reason, they got busted. But again, the thing here that's bizarre to me is that cops keep drugs, millions and millions of dollars worth of drugs, just in the closet. Like, anyone can go get them. Oh, you want some drugs? Here you go, walk in. Oh, gonna go get some drugs? All right, I'm gonna go get some drugs. Why are they that easily obtainable in police incidents? Why don't they just destroy them instantly? If fentanyl were so dangerous that, like, again, that fucking sheriff video in California, if it was so dangerous that just being within a 10-foot radius can, give you an overdose, why would you just throw it in the fucking police station? Why wouldn't you just destroy it instantly? That's my question. But I don't think I'm going to get an answer on that. But again, cops are shit, folks. Fuck them. So I got a super chat earlier. Villa Doc Valley. $4.99. Great content loaded show today. Thanks. Hello from Japan. Love this content. Best on the interweb. MTG is a lunatic. Congress is a cartoon. Hello from America. How's it going? Everyone here is well informed and aware. Been a pleasure to chat. You all have a good night. Good night? I just woke up. You have a good one? Tyson Casey, hello from my toilet. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. All right, folks, I got one more story for today. All right, so, folks, AOC, Sandy, right? Sandy, That's right. AKA Sandy. Anyway, so she posted this in response to her vote on the Iron Dome expansion of funding. Now, of course, she was crying. She was caught crying live on stream. And so the whole internet was making fun of her because that's what the internet does. There's an anti-AOC hatred campaign going on that tries to get people to hate on her for literally everything. It's bizarre. It's incredible. But I haven't read this yet, so I don't know what the excuse is. Again, obviously, I support her voting no and not present, but there's a lot going on in New York. I think she's trying to, do some, district hedge bet. I don't know, whatever. The point was, she's not the make or break vote. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's not like she could have stopped the Iron Dome from getting an extra $1 billion. That being said, let's read to our New York 14 community. Yesterday, the House called to the floor a rushed $1 billion supplemental military funding for a bill for Israel's Iron Dome defense system. I want to be clear with our community that I'm opposed to this bill, but ultimately cast a present vote. Interesting. My job... Now, again, I want to focus on the fact that Jamal Bowman, also from New York, voted yes on this bill. So, is there a giant coordinated hate campaign against Jamal Bowman for voting yes? What about Pramila Jayapal? Is she trending because she voted yes for the Iron Dome? So again, I want to be very clear here. Anyone who's trying to single out AOC over this is probably stupid. But I'm gonna comment on it. My job as your representative is to first and foremost serve with transparency and remain accountable to you, the people of New York's 14th Congressional District. First, let me begin with why I believe this bill should have been opposed. Contrary to popular narrative, this bill was not for all U.S. funding of the Iron Dome, and opposing it would not defund U.S. financing of the system in any way, shape, or form. Since 2011, the U.S. has provided $1.7 billion to the Iron Dome for the Iron Dome and is already financially committed to continuing these funds to 2028. This bill adds an additional $1 billion in funding in 1 year to the system alone. For context, that is an amount in 1 year that approaches all the funding to the system we have provided over the last decade. And this is in addition to the $3 billion authorized earlier this year and other forms of military funding to the Israeli government. I believe strongly that Congress should take greater scrutiny with all military funding across the world. I also believe that for far too long, the U.S. has handed unconditional aid to Israeli government while doing nothing to address or raise the persistent human rights abuses against the Palestinian people, and that this imbalance of power must be centered in any honest conversation about Israel and Palestine. In addition to the many other governments we militarily fund with a pattern of human rights abuses, such as Saudi and Colombia-related amendments, I introduced last week as well. It goes on, folks. In addition to opposing the substance of the Iron Dome supplemental bill, the process of bringing it to the House floor was deeply unjust. The legislative language itself was initially introduced earlier this week by way of an attempt to quietly slip the funding into routine legislation without any of the usually necessary committee debate, markup, or regular order. A funding leap this significant in a policy area that is already so charged and fraught for many communities, particularly our own, deserves the respect of proper legislative process. Unfortunately, the process did not happen, and the reckless decision by the House leadership to rush the controversial vote within a matter of hours and without true consideration created a tinderbox of vitriol, disingenuous framing, deeply racist accusations and depictions, and a lack of substantive discussion on this matter. I want to be clear that the decision to rush this vote, virtually preventing any member from meaningfully consulting with their community, was both intentional and unnecessary. Even the night before, as it became clear that the discourse around this issue was quickly devolving from substance to hateful targeting, I personally had a call with the House Majority Leader to request a 24-hour stay of the vote so that we could do work necessary to bring down the temperature and volatility, explain our positions, and engage our communities. That request was ultimately dismissed. Not only was the request dismissed, but despite the House having almost 8 straight hours of votes yesterday, this vote was chosen to be the first, despite being one of the most controversial. Damn. The damage of this careless process created very real spillover effects into our community. It created a real sense of panic and horror among those in our community who otherwise engage thoughtfully in these discussions, and fueled the discussion to devolve to a point where it became clear that this vote would risk a severe devolution of the good faith community fabric that allows us to responsibly join in a struggle for human rights and dignity everywhere, from Palestine to the Bronx and Queens. In short, the rush of this vote into a matter of hours was threatening to tear our community apart and permanently close the doors that we desperately need open to progress. Yes, I wept. Here we go, folks. The tofu of this statement. Yes, I wept. I wept at the complete lack of care for the human beings that are impacted by these decisions. I wept at an institution choosing a path of maximum volatility and minimum consideration for its own political convenience. And I wept at the complete lack of regard I often feel our party has to its most vulnerable and endangered members and communities, because the death threats and dangerous vitriol we'd inevitably receive by rushing into a sensitive, charged, and under-considered vote weren't worth delaying it even for a few hours to help us do the work necessary to open a conversation of understanding. It certainly wasn't the first time people's well-being was tossed aside for political convenience, and sadly, I do not believe it will be the last. To those I have disappointed, I am deeply sorry. To those who believe the reasoning is insufficient or cowardice, I understand. To those who asked me to quell the volatility of this moment in our community, which constituted the majority of our constituent feedback our office received, I hope we can take this moment and opportunity to more deeply engage in and grow a true substantive movement of community support for human rights around the world, which includes cherishing and respecting the human rights of Palestinian people. All right, so it's okay. It's a decent response. I think personally, I'm going to be honest. I think personally her voting present instead of no or yes, I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm going to say that that's probably generated more discussion around the issue than if she voted no or if she voted yes. If she would have voted yes, there would be no discussion. If she would have voted no, there would have been some discussion. I think the fact that she voted present for DHS, let's be real. I want to be very clear. The same people that go out there and talk about how AOC is evil, she's a disgusting, evil sellout, she's a shitlib sellout, evil, rad lib, identity politics using liberal sellout, emphasis on sellout. Those people are the same people that thought that electing Trump would be like a 12D chess move into, giving everyone health care, because then someone super radical is going to win in 2020. Those people thought it was Tulsi Gabbard, by the way. Again, the same people who think Trump was doing 5D chess are the same people who think AOC can't do 4D chess. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't care at the end of the day. the entire Republican Party and the entire Democratic Party were going to vote this through regardless. They can do bipartisanship when it comes to massacring and committing genocide in apartheid states. That's bipartisan. But what's not bipartisan is domestic infrastructure packages that are going to actually help us not die. That's not bipartisan. That's a huge dog and pony show. But when it comes to throwing $1 billion at a useless fucking piece of garbage that all it does is just protect Israeli citizens from retaliatory fire from a group of people that they've been terrorizing for decades, I don't know. That's a problem. Also, I think she's probably dealing with a lot of things in her district, and president was just a way to deal with that a little, extend the clock on a little bit. I don't know. There's probably a lot going on here. I don't give a shit. Ultimately, I don't give a shit. As my ideology, I would have voted no. But again, I'm not in Congress. Who knows how I would have voted? If I had 30% of my constituency saying that they demand that I vote yes or whatever, and there wasn't enough time to convince them why no is the appropriate vote, I can understand voting present and then maybe trying to delay the clock and then do a statement like this. This makes sense to me. That being said, I don't care. I don't care what the fucking overreaction is. People who think she's spineless or she's canceled, you're dumb. And I'm not dumb, and I'm smarter than you, and that's all I have to say. So the AOC Defense Squad is logged on today, folks. We're in deep. We are in deep when it comes to the AOC defending. I am defending politicians. I'm defending AOC. And I'm an AOC stan. That's exactly what I am. And I'm proud of it. So there you go. Daylight savings? Oh, shit. When does that happen? Hold up. It's November. It's November here. Anyway, folks, that's the show for today. I gotta get ready to leave, so I will see y'all later. Thank you for watching. I apologize if today's energy was a little off. Definitely not feeling too good. But I appreciate y'all for enjoying the show. I'll be back tomorrow in 23 hours from this moment in time. Look at the clock, add 23 hours, and I'll see you then. So, goodbye, folks. Hello? Is it on? There you go.
That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position. And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go. But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Well, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look.